Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Sunday seminar, and it's a topic that, looking at who's here, I think you already know a lot about this, but I also would suggest that there's a good possibility that you'll learn something about outreach, even though you are very much immersed in it already. My name is Tom Gillette. I am the convener for this particular pillar in our new organization, the Third Presbyterian. And outreach covers, as you'll hear over the next 30 minutes or so, a whole array of different ministries. And thanks to all of you who are here. Many of you who are going to have your 5 minutes of fame, not 15 according to Marshall McLuhan, but 5 minutes of fame this morning to tell about your ministry and make people aware of what volunteer opportunities are available. So we got a whole bunch of things going on, as you know, in outreach. A lot of them have to do with food, some of them have to do with housing, some of them have to do with education, and I'm grateful that so many are going to be represented this morning. I'm going to act as timekeeper, because if we don't keep these trains running when they're supposed to, somebody is going to get 15 or 20 minutes and somebody is going to get 15 or 20 seconds. So I'm going to give you a signal when you've got a minute left, and then I will bring that bamboo hook and take you off at 5 minutes. So great that you're here. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. And there also are some sheets for people who are interested in volunteering or hearing more about a particular ministry. If you give your name and contact information, we will make sure that we follow up with that. So to start us off, Renee, you're up.
Good morning.
Morning.
If you don't know me, I'm Renee Clark Peters. I think I know most of you. I'm here to talk about our food ministries. I'm the volunteer coordinator for Dining Room Ministry, which is our hot meal program on Saturday mornings. We have a whole slew of volunteers coming in, cooking a hot meal. We usually come in around 9 a.m., 9:30 to start cooking. And then our guests come in around 11. They're seated. We have volunteers for coffee, greet them, welcome them. They're there until about noon, and then we clean up. So we have opportunities for you to serve as a dining room ministry volunteer Saturday mornings, serving that hot meal. But also we need shoppers. So a few of you here do some of that shopping, usually on a Wednesday or a Thursday. You'll receive a list from Ginny or Karen Kingsbury. They're the folks in charge of planning our meals and putting that shopping list together. And usually you take a month at a time, a few weeks at a time, and do the shopping on a Wednesday or Thursday, bring it here. Any food that is frozen, that meat for the Saturday meal, you'll pull it out into the refrigerator to make sure it's thawed and ready to be prepared on Saturday. So we are in need of both people on Saturday mornings and, monthly to do shopping. Also, our food cupboard, on Thursday mornings, guests can come in to receive big food, fresh produce, non-perishables. They have a team that on Tuesday mornings help pull food off of the truck and bring it inside, but then in the afternoon around 1 o'clock, I just confirmed with Dan, actually stage that for guests to go through and make choices of food. So they could use some help in the morning on Tuesdays, afternoon on Tuesdays, but then also on Thursdays, helping to pass that food out. So that's our food ministries, Jess.
Renee, if I shop for Dining and Ministry, do I have to pay for it out of my own pocket?
Receipts are submitted and you are reimbursed for that shopping. Thank you, Ted. Any other questions?
Excellent. Not
Good example.
surprised. They set the bar high here for, staying within the 5 minutes. Certainly, if there's time within the 5 minutes for questions, we'll entertain those. Thank you, Ted. Very good question. Although there should be time at the end to do that. Questions or comments? Next up is Lori.
My timer will go off because I do run the bar. So our ministry is with Family Promise in Greater Rochester. We all knew it as rain. Many of us slept overnight right here in the church. So we all know housing is more than just a place to sleep. It's security, it's comfort, it's warmth. It's the foundation of our social and emotional lives. It should be a sanctuary, a place to live in dignity. Unfortunately, for a constantly increasing number of families in our community, housing is a question mark hanging over them every single day. Where will I sleep tonight? Will my children feel safe, comfortable, and warm? Will I be doubling up with others? Will I be sleeping on a couch or in cars? So we know the story. We are making a difference. We have been making a difference. So the doors opened in 2004. We were one of the founding congregations and led the way with RAIN. Since then, we've supported almost 2,000 families with shelters. 1951. We now have prevention and diversion services to keep folks from being evicted, putting a security deposit down, utilities, et cetera. And those monies that we used to distribute through Diner Ministry and Food Pantry are now flowing through Family Promise of Greater Rochester for us, and that's what we call the People's Emergency Fund. We have transitional housing. So the transitional housing is a natural next step. We are doing what we call second Saturdays, the second Saturday of each month, so December 14th, from 1 to 3 or just 1 to 2, whatever works. We start at 1. And we actually have been going into the apartments that are serving as transitional houses for our families. They sign a 2-year agreement. They pay less than market rate, about $750 a month. We put 40% of that away in escrow so that at the end of the 2 years, they actually can put that towards an education, a down payment on a house, a different apartment, any of that. We will have a first family coming up soon, within a year, to test that out. I made a list. And by the way, in Rochester, the average single bedroom apartment is 1580. So 750 is a good deal. One parent recently shared they offer safety immediately. I knew they were going to help me. Another said, if I need anything at all, if I need to just talk or if I need something, they will help me with it. Ted's volunteering over there answering phones. We need people to answer phones. Many of you were trained. We still have volunteers in the various congregations who are looking for things to do. So I mentioned second Saturdays. It's really a lot of fun. Pierce Memorial has quite a crew that keeps showing up. We had about 30 people at the last one, and we were putting up curtains and we were cleaning things up and getting the house, the apartment ready. We still have others that are gonna undergo renovation. Answering phones. Ted's there to do that. We really need folks to answer phones. We have a phenomenal amount of calls. Our portal can get up to 700 folks asking for help in the first week, and then we have to shut it down. That's the diversion and prevention program. People's Emergency Fund, keep giving. There are open board spots. I guess that sums it up. So I thank you. And while I'm here, I'll put a plug in for the anti-racism training. We just completed our first 5-week session with almost 15 people and had other churches involved as well as Presbytery. And the next one is coming up, the date, Beth knows it. In January, it'll be 5 weeks. We're gonna try and run numerous cohorts. I'll tell you, it's a real good deep immersion on top of anything else you've done in your journey so far, but it's trying to get us set up to take the next action step. Family Promise is a great example of that, and you've been doing great in that, but just keep it coming. Thank you. 25 seconds.
Terrific message and right on the money in terms of the time. We'll keep moving along, and if there's time at the end, I'll add in a few other comments, but next up is Jim.
Hello, I'm Jim Tiefenthal. Before my wife and I moved to Rochester, we'd heard about Third Church. This is the dark ages of the last millennium. And its outreach program, it's my joy and privilege to hang out with all you outreach people. There's so many smart folks. I feel humbled. So I'm here to talk about IPEACE, Israel Palestine Education and Advocacy Committee. We're the Palestinian advocacy group here at Third. We're the folks who remind that perhaps this two-state solution we've been talking about since at least the British Mandate, 1930s or so, or before. Yeah, we might need a different paradigm because that's not working out so well. And perhaps the oppression didn't start in October 2023. So let me just describe some of the things where you might want to plug in. There are opportunities, large and small. The annual olive oil sale, Fair Trade Products, is ending tomorrow. You can buy products to help farmers and producers in the region. Order online for pickup December 8th. Speaking of December 8th, there are opportunities then to help out with when people come to pick up their things, either here from this congregation or the other. We'll be handing it out in the cloister. Actually, we have a meeting today with our team. You can join us if you want to just see what things are like. I put down the Zoom connections here on this clipboard. Or send me an email note, and there's a place to sign up to if you just like to leave an indication of your interest. So the other things that you might want to take part in as a book discussion. And just as an example, Tanishi Coates' The Message is one of the ones we have considered. He made a trip to Israel, Palestine, and he concluded that the place reminded him that there's still one place on the planet under American patronage that reminded him of the time that his parents were born to in the Jim Crow era. Another book possibility is The Necessity of Exile. This is by a rabbi at Harvard Divinity School. And his concept is not Zionism, anti-Zionism, but counter-Zionism. So I've heard him speak, and I'd like to figure out what that is myself, and would like to join us. Or you can connect with ideas for the Concert for Justice. I think is there still some slots there, Ted?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
But this is in it.
Okay, we'll say a word about what it is.
What the concert is?
Who's presenting in terms of Middle Eastern music?
Oh, I don't know. That's James. I don't know who does the music. I pick the people who speak.
Okay, great.
James does the music.
So you can join our Hebron connection. We're trying to connect with people in the South Hebron Hills who are particularly under oppression by the settlers at this time. So that's the summary of IPEACE. Join us. There's a clipboard if you want to join our meeting today and just see how things work in there. And then I'm leaving a flyer too. Yes, Ralph.
I have an extra copy or two of the message from Connie Coates. If anybody would like a copy, it's a short book, so
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to read. But not easy to read, but it's good material.
So did you benefit from it?
I'm in the middle of reading it, but so far so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
he's a very good writer.
Thank you, Jim. Next up, timely. All of this is timely, but this is particularly timely. Otto and Shannon.
I'm here to talk about the Christmas basket ministry that we have every year. And there are short-term volunteer opportunities that we're gonna talk about. It's, you're not tied up for the entire year, you can do it, it's seasonal. In summary, we provide groceries for a holiday meal for families from our outreach partners at schools 9 and 35, as well as Family Promise. The families are selected because they are food or housing insecure, or both in many cases. Third has a long history of doing this. And my recollection, it goes back at least 40 years, maybe longer. And it used to be a big production. They buy all the food and put together the boxes and on the delivery Sunday, everybody would bring frozen hams and turkeys. And we put it all together and then everybody would fan out across the city and do all these deliveries. Well, it's a little more streamlined since then.
I'm sure.
But we still need a lot of people from the congregation to make all this work. We have 60 families to serve this year, roughly 20 from each of the partners we work with. And Shannon will tell us a little bit more how you can volunteer and help.
So there's 4 ways that you can participate in the Christmas basket program. You can sign up to purchase and deliver a basket, which is what we're hoping you all will want to do. We make it easy by providing a shopping list for you to work from, and you don't have to buy meat because an Aldi gift card is given to the recipient family so that they can do some shopping on their own. So you don't have to worry about that. Another option is you can sign up to just do the purchasing, or you can sign up to just do the delivering, or you can make a monetary contribution. So you can do whatever best fits your circumstance. You can sign up using the link that's in the congregational update each week, or you can give us your name and email today and we, after this session or later in the Celebration Center today, and then we can send you the information. So feel free to reach out to Otto or myself anytime, and we'd be happy to answer questions.
One other thing that is part of this is we collect hats and mittens and children's underwear, and that gets distributed to the schools. And then they have it available to give to the kids as they need that stuff.
So look for our trees, and then there's a
Yeah,
box there.
and there should be collection boxes in the sanctuary to drop stuff off. So. Okay, any questions?
Thanks for coordinating.
Thank you.
Those trains are running on time today. You know, all those meetings that we had to plan for this we're just paying off. We're right on schedule. Next up is Michelle.
Morning, everybody. I think I'm here to talk about the grocery run, and perhaps we're the only endeavor that has its own swag. I had to wear my swag, and you'll see many of us who are involved like to wear our swag because it's a great way of advertising the race. I see a myriad of faces here, and I think everybody is involved in the grocery run that I am looking at right now. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir. I think it's really the ultimate outreach endeavor for our church. It began 15 years ago as an effort to raise funds for our food ministry programs. We weren't getting enough money in donations to support those programs. So we decided, Rod Froman took the lead, Carrie Mers, Bonnie Claxton was involved, and we decided to try to put on a 5K. Hoping that we would break even. We were told we wouldn't. And that first year, we raised $8,000 to donate. And it was a phenomenal success. But why I also think it's a great outreach program, not just because we're raising money to donate to help our neighbors purchase food, but also because we're drawing in the community to participate in this event. And over the 15 years, this isn't just an event that's put on by people who are affiliated with Third Presbyterian Church. We draw volunteers from all over the community. And as you know, Wegmans has increased their involvement now. And we had a phenomenal year this year. So $8,000 the first year, this year over $85,000 is gonna be contributed to the community to purchase food. We used to be able to support our own food ministry program with the money we raised and supplement and provide donations to outside food pantries who are also very involved. I think we had over 33 or 35 food pantries. But our food budget has really increased here, the amount of money that we are spending on food pantry and dining room ministry. So it's really important for us that we grow the race so that we can support all the food pantries and our own endeavors here at Third. So how can you help? You all are already helping, but I will explain. We have online, if you go to the Grocery Run website, we have a place where you can click on volunteer. And that's something that you'll see usually around September. And you can be a marshal here in the building to help people to go to the restroom. You can be, a shepherd. You can be a marshal out on the course. You can work in the food tent. You can work in the kitchen. We have people who operate safety endeavors, making sure everybody's safe. They help at the parking lots. We also have a planning team, and that planning team is already starting work for next year. And we would invite you to get involved in that planning team. If you have any interest in doing so, I ask you to email me or Jenny Hukowski, Ellen Rye. They are the directors of the race at this point. Carrie Mers is also highly involved. It is a joyful experience to be here on race day, and it's really a joy to participate all year round. And I know you have all felt that joy, so I hope you'll continue to participate, and that if someone's watching online and they haven't participated, that they'll join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. And just to show you that somebody who appears to be a normal person can be a volunteer and function with the Grocery Run, I'm also a marshal. So if I seem kind of authoritative and helpful, it's because I picked up some of those skills as part of the Grocery Run. So it's a great event and a great experience. Blake, you're up.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Tom. I apologize, I gotta leave right after this, but you'll sing in the choir, but here's an old style, I don't know. Well, I guess it's not gonna be, oh, it's backwards. I thought people would be able to talk to sing it on. Beats me why it's backwards. I should have given you printed it backwards here. Yeah, there it is. You all have handouts. People's Pantry is located at the corner, just behind the Lincoln Library at the corner of Avenue D and Joseph Avenue, in the heart of one of the highest poverty areas in New York State. Three of our zip codes in Rochester, I believe, have the highest child poverty in New York State, along with several zip codes in Syracuse and a few other places, I think, in upstate. But we changed, we morphed from being part of Calvary St. Andrews food cupboard many years ago. I got associated with it because I was the Presbytery's representative during the time when Calvary St. Andrews was having problems before it closed. And we wound up taking it public. It's now a corporation, which we had to be since we were outside the church and independent. We serve our clients 3 times a week, on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We serve about 800 families every month. And in 2023, we gave out about 400,000 pounds of food. But where does that food come from? Well, we're obviously a member of FoodLink, and we also get our food from other sources as well. Cornell Cooperative Extension has an urban farm on St. Paul Boulevard in Irondequoit, and we get food there during the growing season. They're very happy to collaborate with us. We pick up food donations at 4 different area supermarkets during every week. We have our own van. We have volunteer drivers. We could always use more drivers, I think. But we pick up the food, we sort it because some of it's not quite ready for prime time or past being ready for prime time. We even actually have a composter that comes regularly to pick up the food that was past its prime time. And we actually even have a grant from the Latter-day Saints because we're an independent entity. We're not a religious entity. Other organizations, religious churches and organizations feel comfortable collaborating with us. And it works out quite well. In terms of care for clients, we have a Spanish language client care coordinator, Zuleika Rodriguez, has been with us since we started in our client-facing format at the beginning of last year. And we have over 30 different social service agencies who arrange to pick up food from us. We supply their food and those agencies deliver them because they're the clients that they're picking up food for. We also have 2 different insurance companies that come every Wednesday and every Friday. If you want to talk to MVP, come Wednesday. If you want to talk to Fidelis Care, come Friday. But Saturday is still available if you have an insurance. And those representatives both from both companies do speak Spanish as well. We estimate that about 60–70% of our clientele speak Spanish. And I'm at the door on Friday, so if you want to speak to me, come on Friday, and I'm pretending to speak Spanish, but not really. Sorry. But I will tell you that it's quite an experience to welcome people. You know that, to show compassion for people, to see them, look at them face to face, and understand what kind of problems that they're undergoing and try to find ways to help them. Anyway, we also have tons of different ways that volunteers help, and they're all listed here and they're in your handout as well. And the address, if you want to volunteer, you can sign up on the list, but you can also go to peoples-pantry.org/volunteering, and you can send a note to our volunteer coordinator. You can also see a lot of pictures and get a much better idea about what it's like at the pantry. Thanks. Any questions? Ted, you got a question for me? No? Okay,
Great,
thanks.
thank you, Link. Good stuff. Ross, you are up.
What I'm gonna talk about is my experiences since meeting Beth in 2018. And in the first couple months, she held something at her apartment called Meals with Meaning. And 3 other couples showed up to join us for dinner. And that was when I first learned about Third Presbyterian Church and dining room ministry, because these 3 couples were talking about it, and I was, what are you doing? And they said, well, just this morning, it was a Saturday night, just this morning, we served 70 people lunch. I said, serve them? And I knew at that point, besides wanting to build a relationship with Beth, I realized I wanted to find out more. And so she brought me to church. I was blown away by the music. And then I started volunteering, and I first started with dining room ministry. And experience has been mentioned a lot today. And what I'm going to talk about is my experiences with dining room ministry. And then most of you who have talked to me about what I wrote for the Messenger a couple of months ago, my tutoring experiences at school number 9. Not only the tutoring a 3rd grade boys class in the room 3 hours a day, which was an exceptional experience, Because most tutors I see are out in the hallway with one or two students, and I was invited into the classroom for 3 hours, 4 days a week. And then I always take things a little bit further. I decided to walk through downtown to school number 9 and walk home and experience, especially as soon as I cross Main Street, the north side of the city, the people in need. And I'd have a couple $1 bills in my pocket or whatever and hand them out and talk with them and not apologize, saying I wish I could do more, and they would be so grateful. And then food cupboard this past summer. 400,000 pounds of food, I guess, was mentioned. I've been lifting and carrying a lot of that. And I volunteered when I heard there was a need, and I'm here both Tuesdays and Thursdays. I get my workout 2 days a week. And my point here is things I have experienced in my life now are things I never thought I would ever experience. The relationships I've built, the people I've met, Gregory, who's in the painting about Black Lives Matter that we dedicated last week. I met him at Food Cupboard, talked with him, and I invited him to church, and he actually showed up once. And he's in the painting, which means so much to me. Those kind of experiences I never would have experienced if it wasn't for Third Presbyterian Church. And for me, I'm here today to say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Third Presbyterian Church. And I'm looking forward to so many more experiences doing what I do as a volunteer. I'm not one for meetings. I think everybody knows that now. I don't like talking about the do. I just like to do the do, and that's why you'll never see me at a meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ross. I will send a bill to Mountain Dew for that plug. That you had. Product placement is important, even Sunday seminar. Bob, you are up.
This now.
Sure. I'd like to speak briefly about the ministry called Feed the People. It's a street ministry of Community Justice Initiative, which is a Black organization supported by our outreach ministry. Community Justice Initiative has a website if you want to know more about them. They're kind of a grassroots nation building collective designed to empower Black life in Rochester. Well, here's what happens. Every other Wednesday on a different street corner in the city, hungry people are served free food. We've been at Monroe and Meg's, Lyle Avenue, Ambrose, the bus terminal, South Avenue, streets all over the city, generally around 6:30 at night. How does it happen? Well, a lot of it emanates from Third Church, where people cook and make a big pan of food, like 20 by 12 by 4. It can be ziti, goulash, mac and cheese, or sometimes folks gather in the kitchen downstairs and make sandwiches. People also purchase fruit, water, bring those things to church or deliver them to the site when we know where they're meeting. And you can also serve food there if you're needed. Time involved is about 1 or 2 hours every other Wednesday, time it takes to prepare a pan of food or to do some shopping or to make some sandwiches or deliver it to a city street. Sue has been kind of driving it from the point of getting volunteers to help make food. She's posted on the Facebook Third Church community site. And several folks have responded, and she's got a schedule for people making food to take to these street corners. So you can contact her. She's handed out some information, which I hope you can also get to people who aren't here and involved with outreach. The other thing I'd just like to say about this is that it's more than the food. We've been involved in this for a year and a half. And over that time, we've gotten to know people. Allie is a single mom with 3 kids. And when we first met her, she was serving food with a little infant on her hip. Sue kind of took over and babysat during the time we were there, and the other kids kind of came over. And since that time, we've met with them at her place, and they've been over to our place. So those kinds of things happen. Feed the people, be with the people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thanks to everybody who offered some comments on the various ministries. I'm gonna do a very short one. I'll stay within the 5 minutes that I've got about Habitat for Humanity, which Third has actually been a partner in that local enterprise to identify potential homeowners and build a house so that they could become a homeowner for decades. The most recent association has started in around 2008. And after the last capital campaign, that effort was funded and has been sustained over the last 15 years, during which Third has been part of 15 to 18 constructions of homes, most starting in the Josanna neighborhood, the J. Orange Street area, but now Habitat has moved into the Beechwood area, which is at least a little closer to our home base here, and volunteer opportunities are available. You don't have to be a skilled electrician, carpenter, or anything else. The work for volunteering, a volunteer day, is determined by the skills that the people bring. So my wife can attest that I don't have very many of those skills, but I've been a volunteer for all these years. So Habitat is an opportunity. We've heard about a whole bunch of opportunities, but we haven't heard the whole outreach story. There are many other ones. The Kenya Partnership is an outreach opportunity. The Ross mentioned the tutoring, School 9 and School 35. That has a need for volunteers. We have a relationship with Wilson Commencement Park where we offer an arts and enrichment program to the children who reside at Wilson Commencement. We have been the prime force behind an initiative that began more than 10 years ago, Great Schools for All, and Don Pryor is here and has taken the leadership on that, along with others from Third and others in the community. This is aimed at establishing countywide magnet schools that would be socio and economically diverse, which is not a characteristic of many of the schools in the county, but we keep plugging away at that. We've heard about many different aspects of our food ministry. There are even more. We've been associated with First Genesis Baptist for almost the last year. Prior to that, we supported with funding and with volunteers the Beyond the Sanctuary, their food program. So that there are other things that are going on. I grabbed this Somebody brought a tarp today, Michelle. This is a good example of another aspect of outreach, because, and I want to choose my words carefully, stuff happens in the community. And this particular stuff that started to happen a week or 10 days ago, or maybe even shorter time period, Ted put out a call that's via email that there's a need for tarps and tents in anticipation of the winter that we think is gonna come, for homeless people. And all of a sudden, there's this extensive, email string where somebody, Michelle says, I've got a tarp, I can bring it in. Somebody says, I've got a tent, I've got a great 2-man tent. Somebody else says, you really want a 3-man tent, 3-person tent, because there's not. So over the course of a few days, there's this outpouring of volunteers, yes, but also some substantive contributions to address this particular need. Ted, who is our associate pastor for outreach, and you'll hear from him momentarily, got us into, he was fortunate enough to get us an association with our neighbors down the street, Asbury, and their shower program. A year ago, that wasn't anything we knew about. Now it's another outreach opportunity for volunteers. And I'm gonna let Ted have a few minutes here to close us out, but as much as I'm blathering on about these different opportunities, somebody's gonna come up to me afterwards and say, you know, Tom, you didn't mention fill in the blank. Because there's just so much going on. And the great thing about outreach, at least from my perspective, is when something comes up, it comes to Ted's attention, my attention, Michelle's, Renee's, they've raised this, and we say, yeah, I think we can do that. We don't say it like we can do that, like Third will do it, but we can partner with others in the community to make a dent in these problems. And to me, that's probably the greatest strength of outreach and where we have the most need for volunteers, because people in the congregation say, you know, I wish we would be able to do something for this. And we figure out a way to do it. So, I took less than 5 minutes on Habitat. I may have gone over on the general thing, but like I say, Ted's gonna close us out here. And if you haven't already scoped this brochure out, it's probably backwards, then it's got a great summary of many of the outreach programs. Now I see Patricia has come on, and Patricia, I thought she was gonna be here, but she has another commitment this morning. But you've got a couple suggestions. 5
Thanks.
minute tops.
Yeah, okay, it won't take me that long, maybe, I always say that. Thank you, I'm, it's funny how things happen, I have a cold, so I wasn't able to go out today. And I'm really fine, it just doesn't sound great. But that gave me the opportunity to be at both of these places at once. Right now, Kim from Family Promise is giving an hour-long talk at Asbury, and so I'll be able to catch some of that too. I wanted to add that Habitat has a women's build, which is just women, and there's a man that leads the team just like they lead every other team. And they do one house a year. I was able to, at my age, kind of sneak in and work a couple of weeks before they decided I wasn't prime. You know, some of these women, I've been doing this for a couple of decades. So anyway, I also wanted to ask if you would please donate books for kids. Every Saturday I do a book give in the neighborhood here next to me. They need to include black and brown children or animals. And there's a little dresser out in the hall right outside where you are, where you can just leave the books. And I'm so grateful for those that have already donated. But what I want to talk about, and I'll just take 3 minutes, is Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It's a group that helps organizations set up in their parking lot with equipment to build beds for kids that sleep on the floor. They also includes a mattress and sheets and pillows, etc. Blankets for the kids so they have somewhere to sleep up off the floor, and away from the mice and the roaches and little critters. So anyway, it's just a one-time thing. We're going to do it next spring or summer. I'm not sure. Summit Outreach, we're thinking we could do it here at Asbury at Third, but if not, we can probably do it at Asbury where they have a bigger parking lot. And this shpbeds.org is a national group, but we have a Rochester affiliate, and if you wanted to learn more about it, you could go at shpbeds.org. No experience is needed. And so I hope in the next several months to bring people on board. What we need right now, I should say, is a few people that would be willing to come on board just to help plan. So I'm just asking for a volunteer or two. I hope to get together 5 churches. The cost is $5,000. I'm hoping that we at Third Year can donate a 4th or 5th of that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. My email is up on the screen here, partridgepk@gmail.com. If you have any questions or you want to come on board, you don't even need to commit. Just if you want more information, send me an email. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Patricia. And it's a perfect example of the kind of thing that, you know, somebody brings to outreach and we say, yeah, let's look into that. Let's see if we can figure out a way to do it. I'm gonna give Ted the wrap-up assignment. I won't start the clock on him, but I'm grateful that all of you have participated. Yeah.
I think worship has started the clock on me, so. Just thank you, I guess, is the place to start. And I don't know that everyone here realizes the breadth of the outreach program at Third. The number of ministries, the number of lives that are affected by this congregation is really unmatched in the area, especially in Presbyterian churches. The budget that we have for outreach, about $187,000. Out of the 45 churches in the Presbytery, I would say that's a bigger budget than they have for their whole church, or 40 of those churches. So I think in a good way, you're kind of accustomed to it, you're attuned, like, it's just how we do it. But the reality is, I think we need to acknowledge just how powerful it is what this church does. The number of ministries, the dollars that get put in, and that number doesn't even count the money that gets raised by something like the grocery run. So I just want to keep putting it out there, how amazing it is what you do. And I think you need to know that, and how deeply appreciative we are for, I mean, you have a pastor, you hired a person to do this role. Like, again, that's really unheard of. What I think is interesting is, so the first couple of years I was here, I did 2 roles, right? Congregational care and this. And so I thought when I dropped that 1/2, which was really more than half, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna have all this free time. worked a little bit less, and now it's just like, I still can't keep up because of the breadth of activities and mission and ministry that this congregation does. And is so deeply committed to, and the openness too, like the Asbury Showers and Laundry. Sure, let's do it. And a bunch of people signed up, and just watching the ripple impact, right? That stone that falls in the middle and then it just keeps rippling out. And the tarp thing came really from conversations, both at Dining Room Ministry and at Asbury. Folks that need something a little bit warmer, a place to be. And again, Tom mentioned a few of the things that we continue to do, but it doesn't even mention like the Urban League, after the election, sent out to bring some people together to look at pending legislative issues coming up possibly. And we've got a few of us that are involved with that. I know Lori's been to both of their meetings so far, but just, we don't even know every place that their church is involved. So I just I don't want to blow your heads up too big, but it's really impressive. And thank you for the time, the energy, the money, everything you put into making this happen, because we do. We make a lot happen. And I just want to close with, I'm going to read from Isaiah 58, because what we do is great. Why we do it is great too. We do it, we're a church, right? There's a lot of great organizations out there that do great work, but we're biblically based. We're based on the triune God, particularly, I think, the model of who Jesus was when he lived and walked here. And so I just want to remind us of that. We have Matthew 25, which is a great passage, but I really, I find my strength and comfort in this Isaiah passage, where Isaiah is kind of pointing out to the people what's really important and kind of holding up two things and saying, you know what, this is really why we're here. So Isaiah talking to the people back in Israel, saying, shout out, do not hold back, lift up your voice like a trumpet, announce to my people their rebellion, to the house of Jacob their sins. Yet day after day they seek me and delight to know my ways, as if they were a nation that practiced righteousness and did not forsake the ordinance of their God. They ask of me righteous judgments, they delight to draw near to God. Why do we fast, you do not see? Why humble ourselves, but you do not notice? Look, you serve your own interests on your fast day and oppress all your workers. Look, you fast only to quarrel and fight and to strike with a wicked fist. Such fasting as you do today will not make your voice heard on high. Is such the fast that I choose, a day to humble oneself? Is it to bow down the head like a bulrush and lie in sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Is not this the fast I choose? To loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them and not to hide yourself from your own kin. Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly. Your vindicator shall go before you, and the glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry for help, and God will say, here I am. If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry, satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness and your gloom be like the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your needs in parched places and make your bones strong. You shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose waters never fail. Your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. You shall be called repairers of the breach, the restorer of streets to live in. Just another biblical witness about the need to do the basics. Feed the hungry, clothe the naked, take care of the homeless. So thank you all for what you do, and let's continue to do it. You know, you have my support. People come to me with ideas, and I'm like, sure. We'll figure that out. So let me close us in prayer. It feels appropriate. God, you have laid such a mighty blessing on this congregation. Amazing people. Vast resources. Beautiful hearts. Help us continue to be on the streets, to be restorers in your name. Help us to care for each child of yours. Continue to grant us the resources that we need, the wisdom to use those wisely. Continue to bless this gathered group. Keep their hearts strong. Be with them in any time of darkness, God. Help them know that your light goes before each of them. And know how grateful we are, God, that you call us to be your people and you promise to be our God. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.